Magazine Monday, Magazine Monday, it's Magazine Monday. What are we reading today? Well, layout is coming along swimmingly, really punched through. I wouldn't call it a glass ceiling, just, the layout gets to one point and then you're like, oh, okay, I got to do this. And then it gets to the next point and you're like, oh, I got to do this. Step by step by step, phase by phase by phase, you get through some cool things. And it's just looking absolutely top notch, in my humble opinion, because you got to have vision. You're like, Timmy, that just looks like foam. Or that just looks like a train going around some track. Yes, but if you saw where it started somewhere different. Look at those trees. Amazing. The scoring work on the embankment. We're doing good things. There's the road up there to nowhere. But we're going to put a bridge in. And then it comes down there. We got some paint cans in the way. Working on trees. Now, to go from this, you got to start somewhere. And I'll tell you what, you work your trees into position. You got to get them looking like elk antlers. This is an old pack that I got from Reed's Hobby, and they were selling it for dirt cheap. And so it looked like somebody had started in on using the pack, which is why it was so inexpensive, and it was missing a whole bunch of pieces. But it had the bones, and the bones are the trees. You got to know what the next thing you need is, which is lichen. You throw the lichen on there using some Gorilla Glue and blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, that turns into this. Look at these trees. Oh, my gosh. Hit them with a little bit of the lichen. Hit them with a little bit of the fine turf. Hit them with a little bit of the spray glue. Hit them with a little bit of Mod Podge. Hit them with a little bit of spray paint to give them a little bit of color texture as well. Don't be afraid. Lightly mist that spray paint. But it is Magazine Monday, so we will zoom past the orchard and move on to what we're reading today, which is June of 1993. That is right, June of 93. The Colorado Southern as modeled in ON3 by Mary and Bill Miller. Well, Mary and Bill Miller, let's get to this. June 93. A very hearty, expensive $2.99 to purchase this magazine at the time. And let's go. Let's go. Let's open her up. I love this. This is a great picture. Look at some of this. Let's appreciate the detail here. You see a certain model railroad scene really comes to life when you start adding the dude playing guitar, which is, after my own heart right here. A dude busking next to his bike. Used to do that in Santa Monica on 3rd Street Promenade. Down at the mall there. And if anybody knows about that, used to make a chunk of change just playing some music and having people throw some tips in the hat. Love this Colorado Southern unit. I love the ember protector right there, that big screen over the top of the stack. Really cool. Let's look at some stuff. Look at that. In large scales, we have this gas electric thingamabob. Make sure you follow the Railroads Rock Show on YouTube. You're watching this on YouTube, so subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Let's back out a bit. And, head on over to Instagram. If you're on the Instagrams, you can follow me at Railroads Rock and Roll. Just an N. Railroads, letter N, and then rock and roll. Buy stuff. Watts Train Shop. Lots of stuff. Let's do a throwback. An FT from Stewart Hobbies. It's a high dollar value item at the time. I love this, though. The Cato and Atlas GP35, still to this day holds up. Love that unit. Talked about this on the last podcast. Actually, we talked about the SW1200, but I love the Walthers SW1. That was actually on the last Magazine Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Continuing, closeout prices. I love these old school train comics. The Model Train Store. They never even touched the cash register. I don't know why. Must have been model train thieves. HO scale Alco FA1. It's made in Brazil. Is made in Brazil. Really? Go figure. By who? Product reviews. Who makes it? I got to read that article. That's intriguing. Anywho. Overland models. Oh, Overland, you've done it again. The Lehigh Valley 6-car passenger set. Top of the notch. The Great American Train Show. Speaking of which, If you are in Del Mar this weekend, Saturday or Sunday, this train set will be there on display, along with Evan and I doing a couple of podcasts, showcasts, a little bit of reporting from the scene. And La Mesa Model Railroad Club will be there showing their stuff. We're going to be doing some clinics. Not those kind of clinics. The clinics that teach you something. Not the ones that test for something. Doc, it burns. It always does. Look at that. Nice little AEM7. Amtrak 942. Gosh. That is such a burly locomotive. So European. It's like burly and almost dainty at the same time. Yes, I'll power myself by electricity. It's okay. All the trains do. I just get it from a wire. Look at this. Love these. Let's start with this. Athearn. It's a DD40. Union Pacific DD40. Very intriguing. These came with either one motor or two motors at the time. Some of them had two motors attached together. You get that good pulling power if you really throw some weight in them. And then others would just have one motor that you would burn out immediately because you'd put too much weight in them. You got your FM Trainmaster. Fairbanks and Morris. Gotta love the Trainmaster. Gotta love the SD9. The old Southern Pacific Cadillac. But then you get into the real deal. I always love these. The SW1500. Obviously count the stacks. If it was a 1000, it would have one stack. 1500, two stacks. So Burlington Northern 1500. Burlington Northern actually had the 1000s as well. So you have the one stacks and the two stacks. Moving on. Love those locomotives though. Model Railroad Widows. Let's not read that. Don't need to get on the downtrodden, the downfall. Let's keep moving. The Ohio Creek extension of the Colorado Southern. Well, tell me more. Look at this. Look at the pine trees here. Look at the work. Speaking of trees, when you get out to western railroading, well, East Coast too, but East Coast, the trees are the forest is very thick, and it's easy to model because all you need to do is a tree line, and the rest of it can just be a bunch of balls of lichen because you can't really see much more. This is a beautiful bridge. Look at that. Holy shiitake biscuit baskets. This is just great work on an ON3. This is O scale on narrow gauge track. Obviously, Mahalo Bay over there is ON30, so it's actually O scale with HO scale track. Just a little bit more narrow, but really cool. This is great. You got a point-to-point right here with a nice little turntable at the end, and a turntable at the end with a little bit of sturging. And then a nice little run. Look at that. Layout at a glance. The Colorado and Southern Ohio Creek extension is ON3 with associated ON 2.5 logging railroad. Take a look. Layout height, 44 inches. So awesome. So cool. One of those cool things. And this is us dispatching. That is actually really cool. Doing a little dispatch. You got your layout map right there in the old CTC format. I love it. Beautiful picture here of some beautiful locomotives. Look at that. I can't even see what is that, a 280? That looks like a 280 right there. One of the cool things that I really liked about the Colorado Southern, or just some of the Colorado railroading, is these ginormous snow plows. And I would say obstruction plows, because sometimes you'd get rocks that would fall. And if you had a big enough boulder on the rails, you might just want to catch it and throw it off the railroad. Really cool gravel cars there. Bop, bop. And look at this. Obviously taken on film, because back in the day we didn't have digital. And it's just really cool to see. Look at all the rock work, which is, obviously you could tell there's a lot of scoring going on there, which you could see we do scoring when you have a downhill, because erosion is real. And then we flatten out the top so you get a smooth surface there. Maybe I'll flatten this out a little bit smoother because we're going to have a nice little section right there with fencing. It's the side of the road, bro. Anyways, beautiful picture. Train and train doing its thing. I love this little car, this little diesel electric hop-along, as they call them, doodle bugs. I mean, one has got to wonder where all these kits came from, because no 3D printing, just injection molded resin kits, and everything else being just kit bashed and thrown together. Hi, we like each other. North Shore Lines, Catenary Bridges. Love it. Look at that. Now you could do that with 3D printing. I don't think you could actually, maybe. Who's to say? But look at that. That'd be some laser cut brass. That kind of work right there, if you really wanted to do it the right way, which I'm sure it is. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that is a model. And what great work is done on that model. And there's the real thing. Column A, column B. Column A, column B. Oh, there's another picture of the real thing right there. Those steeples going up, grabbing the catenary lines. Obviously you have your, this wire just keeps getting in my way. You have your nice little delivery of electricity, and then your distribution hanging down, grabbing the catenary lines. Nice archwork there. Really cool. Good blueprints. I like this blueprint. What is this, an N scale? I'm sure it would say you'd have to yeah, there it is. N scale, ratio 160. So if we doubled this, we would have some HO scale stuff. And I think I may actually copy this and utilize that, because I love these big giant towers. Those are just so cool. Moving on, shows you how it gets done. Obviously the time here is not enough, because this is just a Magazine Monday. We're just doing our thing, our due diligence, waltzing through. But man, look at that. Hey sailor, what you doing? Oh, we're just got our hands in our pockets, or we're standing at attention or something. My dad was a Navyman, so was my mom. She was a Navy woman. 25 years between, well, actually 50 years between them both. 25 and 25. Pretty cool. Look at that. There we go. Just all the extra accoutrement. Look at that rock work. Adding rocks to your layout. And the crazy thing is this is turn of the century stuff. This is early 1900s. What, 1910 to about 1925? Just that old school 280. I believe, yeah, there's a leading truck right there, 280. Or maybe that's a 282. Yeah, either way, looks good. Looks good, feels good. Love the rock work here. Plaster casting is a thing. It's really cool, but once you get it down, you could do a little bit of casting and a lot of self molding. Just cutting away, doing your joint compound. That is a beautiful scene. Look at that resin work. You got the reflection in the water. I am loving this article. Speaking of which, I didn't even pick this. This magazine was a random pull. But I mean, just seeing some of the, not only rock work, but the foliage that goes around it. So cool. Look at that. And then obviously, it just so happens that we're doing the AEM7 right here. That's it, and it's nice, beautiful. I love this paint scheme, as opposed to this like, just putzing along. No, that blue really makes it pop, makes it look modern, makes it look like it's moving. Gosh, that's great. We've got blueprints, beautiful blueprints. There's two of them there. Either a power move or a power move. 1.21 gigawatts. So cool. Love those blueprints. Really liking all this stuff. Look at that. So crazy, too, because you got this, in this picture, you got a GE. I think it's like, look at this. You have the old Pensies, the GG1s. And then you've got this, what is that? That's got to be a GE. Hey, it may say it's like a GE60 something. Let's see. Replaced by GG1 and E60CP. There we go. Yeah, GE made those, I believe. Look at those burly stinking units. I think there's a railroad out in New Mexico or Arizona that mobilizes cargo or mobilizes coal trains out to a power plant with those. I don't know if they're still around, but they were up until the 2000s. And then obviously you have your newest of the locomotives. I love these. Look at Mary Miller. For building this combination baggage passenger car on O-scale, the 3-foot gauge car is heavily modified. Star Models kit with a rebuilt roof and completely scratch-built underbody. Mary covered the roof with 3M photographic tape. The windows are real glass, and the shades were made from wallpaper. The seats, stove, and other detail parts are by Grant Line. Paul Dokos photographed the model. Well, Paul Dokos, good job, bro. Winning as usual. Magazine Monday. This is great. A lot of good stuff in this one. Good job, Model Railroader. 1993 of June. Winning. MR visits HR trains. Look at that. They even went to hobby shops. We've got little wooden trains for the girls and boys, as well as other stuff. Great things. Nice Christmas setup with some G-gauge trains, which we have right here. Still waiting for some things to come to fruition so I can announce some cool stuff that I'm going to be working on if it comes to fruition. Other than that, bing, bang, boomerang. Golly gee whiz. Gosh, there's just too much to cover. So we're going to end right there. Buy stuff. Find our stuff. Buy stuff. The end of the magazine does the Kato SD40. What a great model. Still holds up to this day. Even if you have an old school one. Pop a DCC right in there and you'd still be cooking with grease. Along the line, totes faves, as I like to say, bliss in the backyard. I used to say that with my lady. You know what I mean? Anywho. Can't you almost feel... Yeah, that's right. Can't you almost feel the warmth of a perfect summer day? Hear the birds singing? Best of all, there's a busy railroad just beyond the fence. Model railroading is a universal language, and we need to offer no better proof than this wonderful photo taken by Dieter Rufsin. The scene is set in his HO home layout in Lewe, Germany. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sunflowers, roses, and the rush of fast trains. You can't beat it. Even if you have to mow the yard. Guess that's universal too. Oh, look at that. He's mowing the lawn. Beautiful. And that's Magazine Monday. Magazine Monday. All right, get to it. Hope you all are having a wonderful day so far. We'll do a Motivation Monday on Instagram. Maybe post some of this. I don't know. But remember, trees, the birds and the bees, everything else in between. And your most important signal is going to be your next one. Rock and roll.